Hello, everybody. Wild Man Z here with a short book review on a really slim book. It's a nonfiction work by Carlo Rovelli. It's called White Holes. This is a nonfiction book for people interested in modern physics. A white hole is sort of the opposite of a black hole, as he explains in here. It's a proposed object in space. It's never been directly observed, and it's sort of like if you picture a black hole as space-time being warped down to a small point, like being pulled in. This is the opposite. He describes what he proposes as a rebound effect of that, and things getting it coming backwards like a basketball bouncing off the floor at you. Although he argues from the vantage point of a viewer on the outside, it would be very hard or impossible to discern the difference if you're beyond the event horizon. He talks about that in some detail. This is it's a similar book like Hawking's book, A Brief History of Time, and things like that, where it's meant for a general audience of people who are interested in such things, but who are not necessarily a physicist. I'm not a physicist, but I'm an allied field, and I've taken a ton of physics in college, although I've never studied in detail anything beyond special relativity, so this is a lot of general relativity in there, but he also brings in some quantum mechanics and things like that, which I am very familiar with. So there's no math in here. There's some graphs and depictions. So if you're scared of like picking up a physics-oriented book because of math and boring dialogue, you don't get that in this book. This book is very nicely written, very punchy, and also he has a lot of if you watch him in a talk, go online and Google him if you're interested, if you don't want to buy the book, and just watch him on Theory of Everything or one of the popular podcasts. I don't know if he's been on Rogan. But he talks a lot about music and art and sculpture. He's very Italian. He loves like the Michelangelos, and here he references a lot of Dante's Inferno to try to describe his journey and so forth in terms of his discovery, as opposed to hitting you with the equations, which obviously if you're going to be a physicist or a student thereof, you would definitely need to work through. I teach courses in like physical chemistry, and like everybody's in there when we get to quantum, like, ooh, let's talk about it. I'm like, nope, we're going to solve the wave function, guys, because now we're learning it, and then you can talk about it later. But this is a chatty book, but it's very nicely written. What I like about it, just going to open up to, I think it's around page 80, just to give you a feel. He goes nicely back and forth between like his scientific discussion and also just personal things going on in his life. He'll be talking about at the point of maximum compression, the extremely dense star is the Planck star, and he has a reference. Planck star is the name that given to the entire phenomenon, the star that collapses into a black hole, the rebound, the white hole, until the point when everything comes out again. And then later on the page, in sort of a change of font and in no capitals, he just has in here he's mentioned Florence somehow, or he was meeting in Florence, and he goes, "This is the city of my birth, to which whenever I can I return from my," quote, "happy exile in various parts of the world. For Dante it was the place of painful exile, where he learned how the bread of the others tastes of salt," and he puts in quotes, "bread is salted in Verona, unlike in Florence, his birthplace, and how hard they find the way is, ascending and descending the stairs of others." So he has like these digressions into Dante, his personal life, music, sculpture, which I actually kind of like because, I'm a physical chemist, and a lot of what we do and see revolves around ideas with symmetry and so forth, which artists always, and writers as well, always evoke and try to call upon when they're creating. And so there's a lot of, I hate to say it sounds very antiquated, but there's a lot of beauty in nature, and there's a lot of beauty in the math if you do know it. But this book doesn't hit you with the math, it hits you with really nice writing, some drawings that you can tell are handmade type of things to give you just a cartoonish type depiction of what's going on. Are you going to understand 100% of the physics? Unless you're a physicist or something, some allied field like an engineer, electrical engineer, something like that. Probably not, but you'll get the gist of it and kind of get your eyes open to a really strange phenomenon that may or may not exist. But, in our lifetime, we've seen the advent of black holes. Back when I was a kid, that was just a Disney movie. Einstein first proposed it in 1915-ish with his works on general relativity that were primarily his own, with the also some of help by Emmy Noether, who was a female mathematician from Germany who doesn't get a lot of credit for it, but she did a lot of the hard math associated with general relativity. It took till 2017-ish to visualize a black hole, which was unfortunately not very well funded in America, but Europeans funded it very nicely. And so, I remember seeing that, and I got teary-eyed, because that was, to me, you're seeing a distortion in space-time that, it's basically almost tearing, if you will, that's occurring. It's just absolutely fascinating that it existed. Einstein actually didn't think it existed. His math predicted it, and he was kind of like, that's what they call singularity. Is a mathematical artifact. He did not believe it actually existed, where, how would you know until you actually try to make the observation or do the measurement of something? So, do I recommend this book? Yeah, if you look like popular books by people like Sean Carroll or Stephen Hawking's, and that kind of stuff, absolutely. If you don't like science at all, no, I wouldn't read this. If you're on the fence about it, watch one of his talks for 10 or 15 minutes and see if you... I find him very charming. He's a very charming man, very humorous, lighthearted Italian gentleman. He's just a likable guy. So I recommend this book to anybody that likes science and wants a quick, fun, enjoyable read. On that note, Wild Man Z out. I like the cover here too. So have a great day. Take care.